I did not realize how hard it was going to be to schedule filming. Now that I also have a job,
Hmm.
damn, damn, it gets tricky. I get so tired sometimes. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
we're here.
yeah, we're here finally. Welcome back, guys. I think it was also the issue that what I think. No, I was busy the week prior, and
Hmm.
then we had a cruise, which we're going to talk about because it was Lynn's first Disney cruise ever.
Yeah.
Um, And then last week we had some scheduling issue, and now we're back. But then it takes a week to upload, so it's going to be next week, not the week that I'm currently filming, or we're currently filming.
Yeah.
But we're back. Welcome to the TJH podcast. But yeah, I think just straight into the first one, Lynn. Um, you got to do a Disney cruise for the first time.
I did. It was really cool.
hmm What did you expect it to be like? Because I've done it growing up my whole life, so
Yeah.
kind of seen it like the new ships and so on and so forth. But what did you think Disney cruises were going to be like?
I don't know. I just like always expected them to be like super magical and
hmm
like super in your face Disney. And I've only done Carnival and Royal Caribbean before. So like doing a Disney cruise was like definitely like a surprise.
hmm
So just like stepping onto the ship, like it was so cool. Like they had like Rapunzel and Eugene, like or Flynn Rider, whatever, like waving, and I don't know, it was like cool, and a lot of the spaces like were heavily themed, which I like. It felt magical, it felt Disney, but also I feel like there were parts where it was like really in your face and then parts where it was like really subtle. Like for example, we went on the Disney Wish. So they had
hmm
a Star Wars bar and then which was like heavily themed, but then they also had like a Princess and the Frog themed bar, which was like very subtle, I feel like, with the
hmm
theming. Like there was just like a statue of like Tiana in her frog form and then Naveen in his frog form. So I feel like unless you were like looking, I mean, those were kind of obvious, but like unless you were like looking
But they
for like
weren't
the little,
massive. They weren't massive statues. They were like a little bigger than an actual frog would be.
they were like this size, I would say.
Yeah, no, that's actually pretty accurate.
Yeah.
But they were like on the side next to a railing on one side of the bar, and the other
Yeah,
one was on the other side next to a different railing.
exactly. So I feel like unless like you were like searching for the little details, like you wouldn't have like noticed, but it was really cool.
Even the Star Wars bar, yes, it was like heavily themed. Like the cushions were styled the same way you would see that on the Millennium Falcon. The metals and like the other materials used, they were shaped to be like again, like Star Wars is,
Mhm.
but it wasn't like stormtroopers were walking by and there wasn't Jedis. Like it was the idea is you're in a bar on a space cruiser, and
Yeah.
then the screen behind the bartenders, it will periodically go into hyperspace and it'll
Mhm.
change so that you see like Mustafar in the background or you'll see Coruscant in the background. So it makes it feel like you're taking a journey, but you're not continuously like getting Star Wars in your face like if it was Oga's Canteen.
Yeah. Which I loved. That was such a fun experience. The drinks we had were really good too.
hmm hmm
Mine was like this like pink drink.
It had Pop Rocks in it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was like coconut and like chocolate. It was
hmm
pink though. It was like really good. And then
Yeah.
you had it kind of like tasted like a melted Dole Whip.
Yeah, and it was like a orangey tropical flavor. That
Yeah,
one was good. I like that one.
it was really good. And I have to say, like, I made Braden, I was like, we'll have to do this for sure. And we did. We went down to like the kids' clubs because on like the first day of the cruise, it's like open house. And I like wanted to see because when I was like growing up, I only went to the parks. And even then, that was like pretty rare. So, like, when
hmm
I saw like Disney cruise commercials or like when they would send out like the VHS tape or like the DVD of like, oh, plan your Disney vacation. And they did the cruise line portion. And I was like, wow, these kids clubs look so cool. Like, I want to do
Oh,
it.
they were great. I'll say that. And I
Yeah,
didn't get to do the ones that are on this boat, obviously, because
right.
when the Wish came out, I think, I just turned 20. But I did a tour of it because my sister used to work on one of the boats, and I just went the day before a cruise began. and there's a section that's like fully Star Wars themed, and I'm like,
Mhm.
fuck, I would have eaten this up if I was a child.
Yeah, but we got to explore, which was really cool. They had like this Imagineers section,
Oh
and
yeah.
you can actually like they had ride concepts. I found this like picture of concept art. I didn't know like originally Ratatouille was supposed to be like a water ride, and you were like going through sewers, which was
Oh,
like
that's right.
yeah, it was crazy. And they had like little mock-ups of like the ride vehicles for things. And it was just so cool. And they actually had a room. It reminded me of like Disney Quest, where you like were able to make your own like roller coaster. And it also reminded me of Some of Thrills. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
hmm
we were trying to do it. We were like tapping our magic bands, but then someone came over and was like, "So sorry, like it's closed like for the open house." But I guess like if you were a kid, you get to make like your own ride and you sit in a little like ride vehicle and you like but
Did
it
you ever?
was cool.
Did you? Was that a thing in the U.S.?
What?
It was like arcade machine ride simulator.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, you know
Where you like
exactly what I'm
sit
talking
back.
about. Yep. Hold on.
Yeah.
This thing I was addicted to as a child. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. You like,
Oh yeah.
and you'd choose the
That
ride fuel
exact
from
one
these buttons.
too.
Yep. Oh, there's one that was like a super sci-fi one where you're riding in a tunnel in like the real world, or like in a city. There's a different one where you were in mine carts. Like they had a few really fun ones I remember.
That's crazy.
They still have them at a few movie theaters that I go to. It's kind of funny.
hmm
Mhm.
But it was just like so cool to see that. And then as well, they also had like the Star Wars section. And it was like if you put like Galaxy's Edge into a room, it
Yep,
was very cool. And they even had like an animatronic,
they had
which
a
was
couple.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
they had a few, which was cool. And then they also had like Avengers, and we went in there and
which one was the Avengers part?
it was like the really white and sterile room. Like it was kind of boring in there.
Oh,
But that was like
oh,
for the teens though. So I imagine like
yeah.
they were gonna have as interactive things. But
hmm Yeah. Well, no, I think if
yeah.
anything, that was preteens because I don't think we went to every single kids club because they have like the babies,
Yeah,
the
we skipped that
infants.
one.
Yeah, because those don't matter to us.
Yeah.
It was like the children and the preteens was like where the cool stuff was,
Yeah.
and then the teenage ones, it's more like vibey. Like it's kind of like if it's kind of like going from Disney to Disney XD.
Oh, wait. Okay, wait. Now I see what you're saying because I remember we did a scavenger hunt while we are on the cruise and we had to take a picture with a cast member and we went to one of like the vibe clubs or whatever.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's
okay, I know
literally
what
just
you're talking
like
about.
it's just like fun colors in a few
Yeah.
spots or like funky designs. But then it's like a giant TV with a Wii and a Switch
Yeah.
and an Xbox, a different area with a giant TV. I think they have little pods where you can listen to music if you want to just be by yourself. It's
That's
kind of
fun.
funny. And then I don't think we saw much of it. We saw like the sports area, but where we
Yeah.
did the Incredicoaster inflatable race, that's a kids club.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Incredicoaster.
Is that what it's called? What was it called?
It was like Incredibles, like I don't know.
I don't know.
It's
I
not a roller
mean,
coaster though. It was like an
no.
inflatable thing.
It was yeah, it was one of the things where you run and
Yeah.
you try to like there's inflatable pylons that you try to get around or like a tube you have to go through, that kind of stuff.
Guess who
Uh
won?
Braden did. Oh, I booked it.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'm competitive with that kind of stuff. I dove. I just body checked everything and I was like watching there's pendulums that would go and they
Oh
were
yeah.
heavy. I'll say that.
I
They
didn't get
had
them.
no.
No.
Oh, I got bodied by one of them, and I just like checked back, and I just ran and kept going. I was like, I beat her.
Oh my gosh. But it was just that part was like really cool. Like I know that's kind of like silly because we're adults, but I even got
Yeah.
to do like little slide.
Oh
Yeah.
no, you got stuck on the slide. Don't forget that part.
Did I?
The water slide
Oh,
and your trauma.
oh, that one. I was talking about the little slide into the kids area, but yeah, so
Oh wait, okay, tell the kids thing because that's actually a lot of fun. I like
okay,
that
yeah.
one.
So deck 3 was like the main deck
hmm
and deck 2 was where all the kids stuff like was located at.
Yeah.
So you can take a slide from deck 3 to deck 2,
Hmm. And
and
they let
that's what I
anyone
did.
take it when it's the open house, which is nice.
Yeah.
Hmm. But what I was talking about was
Uh-oh.
the actual, like the big attraction on the top deck. It's a water slide, and it kind of has like a story that goes with it as you like approach the beginning of the ride, which is fun.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it changes. I think they change it per cruise,
Yeah. It
but
does, I think, because the
mhm.
video I watched of where someone else got stuck too, it was a completely different like scenario.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So, when you're in the lineup to get onto the water slide, there's a couple digital screens that flip between movie poster styles of the new Mickey and Friends cartoon.
Mhm.
One of them is like they're in a ski mountain. One of them is they're underwater and there's like giant octopus,
Mhm.
and so on and so forth. Like there's a few different ones. We had the one that was winter themed, which was enjoyable. It was
Yeah.
nice. But Lynn, as your first, my first time as well. Now that I think about it, I that was the first time I ever went on it. What
Yeah.
happened to us?
Well, before we get there, I just want to say I really like the screen aspect of the ride
Mm-hmm.
because there's a ramp. You're going up the ramp, but there's the screens like showing out like what's happening in the scene. And as like, let's say Mickey gets hit with a snowball, then little sprayers like will spray you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interactive. It's very fun. But we waited in line, I would say about like 25, 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
The wait was posted at 30, so it was pretty accurate. It
Mm-hmm.
was our turn to sit down. We sit down, we're going up the ramp, and like the water's like splashing us like throughout the scenes, and then all of a sudden like it stops. And we're
Mm-hmm.
stopped for like maybe about like a minute, maybe even less, and
Mm-hmm.
then it resumes. All right, we're going back up a little bit, and then it stops again. And that time we're stopped for about like maybe like 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah,
And I'm
easily.
looking behind us, and it's like very steep. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, ah, and at least they shut off the screens. Like the screens are still there, they're just like paused, but at least they shut off the sprayers. So we're like
Yeah.
sitting there, and I'm just like, oh my God. Like, what is going to go on? Because right before this, we ran into Braden's parents and his grandparents, and they got stuck on it.
Yeah.
So
Literally
we're,
right before we got in line, they're like, "We just got evac'd off it."
yeah, so we're like, oh, okay, like, I don't know if that's a common thing or what, but oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
So then I like look back behind us, and I'm like, I think they're evacuating like the couple behind us. And they were like at the very beginning of the ramp. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, oh no. And the next thing you know, like lifeguard was coming up to get us.
Yeah.
I was
Uh,
like, ah.
you had an easy time getting down, didn't you?
I was really nervous because it was very slick.
Yeah.
It was very slick, and I didn't want to fall because it was very steep, and I'm very clumsy anyway, so I know myself. And like that's why like if I'm going downstairs, I literally have to take my time. I hold on to the ramp, I look down because I'm very clumsy. Like I know I will trip and fall. So I was like
See,
holding
I
on
didn't,
to
I didn't, I didn't know that. So that's actually really funny to hear from myself.
yeah. I was like holding on to Braden. I was like, oh my God, I'm so scared. Like, I love how like the lifeguard, like this is so common. He's like 10 steps ahead of us already. We're like
Mm-hmm.
behind. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well,
It's like so,
he also had like water shoes on, so he has a lot of grip.
yeah, we're like barefoot. Like,
Yeah.
because they make you take like your shoes off before you like get on, things like that. So, which,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, safety, we get it. So I'm like so scared. I'm like, oh my gosh. And like once we get down, I'm like, I was like so terrified. And I was like, okay, well, we did it. We get back in line. They keep us at the front of the line. They're like, all right, we just got to cycle through.
They're like, it'll
Um,
be 5 minutes.
yeah, 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes come and go. And then they're like, all right, come on, sit down. We sit our little asses in the little raft. And then we're like moving on the conveyor belt. And then they stop it right before we like get up the ramp again. And they're like, oh, sorry, guys. Like, because they had like the engineers out there and everything, like
Yeah.
taking a look. So we
Well,
decide,
I still don't know what happened to it. Like, what could have buggered up so badly that they're like, we have to fully reset. There's no point in having a lineup. and we have to like
Yeah.
affect like the plumbing essentially. Like
I
what the hell happened?
I don't know. I think, like, maybe it might be, like, a momentum thing. Like,
They have to like kick it up to speed kind of thing.
maybe, like, someone wasn't fast enough to go over the hill.
Yeah.
That's
I'm surprised they don't have like weight things because there are a few
yeah.
sections where you're dropping down and picking back up.
Yeah, that's what was so ominous too about being on that ramp because the section that you go through, like right when you get off the ramp, it's pitch black. Like it's a pitch black piece of like tube. So like you just see like this dark abyss
Hmm.
and you're like, what is going on? But yeah, they told us they're like, oh, it's gonna be 30 to 45 minutes. Like you can
Yeah.
wait if you want, but like at that point, everyone just like left. So we actually went back to the adult area
Hmm.
and they had like a private infinity pool overlooking the back of
Yeah.
the ship, which was so
Here's
cool.
here's another thing too, because we've talked about like Disney Cruise has like the not so subtle spots and then the subtle
Yeah,
spots. The whole adult section, you wouldn't think
it's Disney.
you would think you could say to yourself, I'm on a Royal Caribbean, and you could convince yourself, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's just the infinity pool, a bar, around the corner is a coffee spot, and the coffee spot isn't even Disney themed. It's like just more mature, I would
Hmm.
say. And like the only theming they have is like we they make a coffee that's from Brazil and they make a coffee that's from India and so on and so forth. Like
Yeah.
it is kind of nice that you can just be like just I'm taking a break from the kids. I'm just gonna enjoy the view from the back of the ship. And we did that
Hmm.
like both times we left port. We
Yeah.
went to that infinity pool section and we watched ourselves pull away from
Yeah.
the ship from the docking section.
Yeah. That was cool. Have a little drink in hand, just
Hmm.
sitting,
Hmm.
like watching. It's like so relaxing and like so cool to see because we were in the pool for like a hot minute. I want to say like maybe like an hour.
Yeah, I lost
And
track. I was kind of like, I'm getting pruny. I got to get out of this thing.
yeah, because we were in there for so long, we literally were docked. And then we were so far away, like, you could barely, like, see where we were docked at. Like,
Yeah.
we were there for, like, a hot minute. But
Hmm.
once we got out, we hopped in, like, the hot tub for a second just to say that we did it, like, on the cruise. And
Yeah.
then we hopped back out after 5 minutes, and I was like, "Please, before we go, like, get ready for, like, dinner, can we please, like, check and see if it's back open?" It's probably about, like, a 10-minute wait, and we did it, and we
Yeah.
didn't
Thank
get
goodness,
stuck.
too. Hmm.
Yeah.
And I think right when we joined the lineup, it immediately requeued. So we
Yeah.
came right at the right time, thankfully. Because was that also the day that we skipped dinner and we did like a spa night?
Yeah, I think
Hmm.
so,
Hmm.
yeah.
And that's another thing. The spa as well. It's not like what would be like a Disney character or like a Disney place that would be like a spa. Because there's Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique for hair, but I'm trying to think
Yeah.
like what would be. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is
Well
it's not like the spa of Disney with Disney characters. It's just themed with like a lot of greenery, but a lot of like
yeah,
pastel muted colors. So it's like very relaxing.
yeah. Well, they do have, I guess, like, kind of a spa, that's, like, themed. They have, like, the Hooks Barbery for, like, men or whatever, and then they have the Tangled Salon for women,
But
and,
those are
like
hair salons, is what I'm saying.
yeah, and, like,
The
nails
the
too,
the
but not
true
like a
the spa, yeah, where they
spa, yeah,
massage you and that kind of, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So we did that. It was nice. I've never, like, had a massage before. Like, it was nice.
Hmm.
It's just kinda weird, like, you gotta strip down, like
Well, they're not there with you.
I know, I know, but, like, it was kinda weird, like, they're like,
Hmm.
"Alright, you here's this, like, locker room, go strip." I'm like, "Okay," like but they had, like, a private bathroom at stall, so I was like, "I'm gonna change in there just in case anyone
Yeah,
walks in," like
yeah. There's
but
like
it
no
was
there's like no guys, thankfully. Was there many girls
there
when you
was
went?
one just, like, waiting. They had, like, a little waiting ro area for you to, like, get called back, and, like, they had little snacks in there, like bananas. So I was, like, hoping, like, it would be a while until they call me to get, like, a banana, get, like, some
Yeah,
water or something. But then,
yeah.
like, as soon as, like, I got out of the bathroom and I would put my stuff in the locker, they called my name. I was like, "Alright."
Nice. I
Yeah.
think as well it was smart of us because you know we like Disney,
Yeah.
but we're old enough that we kind of just want to chill sometimes.
Yeah.
There's three restaurants on the boat. One's Marvel themed, one is um, Frozen themed, and then
Yeah.
the other one is it's like a mature Roy and Walt Disney themed one where it's
Mhm.
concept art, and I think it's called 1920s,
1920
1923.
1923, and then they have,
Yeah,
like, a Walt section and a Roy section, and
yeah.
then I think the
They're just
Walt.
mirrored.
Yeah,
They have different like concepts
art.
and like arts, yeah. But
Yeah,
it's just mirrored just so that they can split up the dining hall. But
yeah.
we Lynn and I decided to skip the Anna and Elsa day because we knew that was going to be the biggest themed one, and then we went back after the spa to say hi to my family, and holy shit was
I'm
it
glad
loud when
we
we
did.
walked in.
They're,
Yeah.
like with,
They're
like,
dancing, they're walking
napkins.
around.
I was, like,
Oh,
overwhelmed. We were in there for probably about, like, 20 minutes just talking with your family. I was, like, overwhelmed. I was
yeah.
like, "What is going on?" I do have to say, we, like, came in at dessert time, though. The dessert looked, like, really good.
Mhm.
It, like,
Well,
had, like, blue, like, sugar crystals on it to be,
yeah,
like,
it was.
frozen.
I think it was like. Well, I think it was like Olaf themed. I think that was the other one. It was an
Yeah.
Olaf Sunday. But yeah, because the Marvel one,
Oh my
that one was okay. That wasn't too in your face, but it
god.
did
Yeah.
have a story that's like, oh, we should watch and be engaged.
My only complaint is, like, they have screens that show, like, what's going on. Like, not gonna
Mm-hmm.
do too much spoilers, but it's basically, like, Ant-Man and the Wasp themed, and I wish they had, like, captions because
Oh,
it's so
really?
loud in there. Like, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching the screen across from me, I can't, like, necessarily hear what's going on because 'cause we're talking,
Mm-hmm.
like, our table mates, like, there's other conversations from other tables, so, like, I wish they had captions.
No, no, you're right. But I think they'd have to have the captions on the top because
Yeah.
you never see the bottom of the screen. All you see is heads.
Yeah, because there's, like or, like, bodies,
Yeah, just everyone's
torsos.
in the. No, you're right. I'm surprised they don't have that. Hmm.
Yeah, but it
Interesting.
was it was, like, really cool. It's interactive, like, you gotta press a button on something, like,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of fun, and I will say that bread dip, I'm gonna be thinking about it for the rest of my life. It was, like, red
Oh, the
pepper.
red. Oh
Oh,
my
so good,
gosh.
and then they had these little, like, rolls that were, like, tie-dyed red too,
Oh,
like,
that's right. And they had
so
like,
good.
didn't they have like little bits of like onion or whatever
Yeah.
wrapped around it?
It was so
Oh,
good.
that's the kind of thing where it's also like the cruises really have stuff I've never seen anywhere and I've never even
Yeah,
heard of.
yeah. Like, sorry, I'm a big foodie, and, like, the one thing I love about cruises, I love, like, looking at the menu, like, in advance. I'm not gonna lie, like, before, like, we went on the cruise, I did try and search up, like, what the menu would be, and, like, I got the lemon pasta. It's really good. It had,
Hmm.
like, scallops and things like that. It was really good from the Marvel restaurant.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with me, but every time I go on a cruise, I think I end up having a red meat dish every single night.
You did.
No matter what it is, I'm like I'll get the roast beef and then I'll get the steak and then I'll get the pork chop. I know pork
Yeah,
chop isn't red meat technically, but you get the idea.
yeah.
Mhm. Gosh, I already missed the cruise.
Me
Oh,
too.
that's the other thing. So, when you're on a Disney cruise, this isn't me promoting Disney in any way. We are not sponsored,
Unless you want us to.
unless you want us to be sponsored. When you're on the cruise, there's a down deposit you can make of like I think it's 250 US, and what it does is it gives you a hold for any cruise from now until 24 months after you book or after you got off the cruise that you were currently on, and you'll get 10% off.
Mhm.
So, like, how could you say no to saving money if you like the cruise? So, something I said to
Yeah.
Lynn, I was like, Lynn, did you enjoy, a Disney cruise because it was your first time? So, yes. I said, if it was like 125 each, and oh, and the other thing is it's fully refundable. So even
Yeah.
if Lynn and I realized, you know, financials isn't the best right now, or maybe we grew out of our cruise phase and it was literally just like a one-time thing, which I don't think it is. I think
Yeah. I
we're
like
gonna do something.
cruises. Everything's included
Yeah, and
for
that's
the
the other
most
nice
part.
thing. And you're not walking as much. You're walking, but
Yeah.
it's not a theme park walking. Excuse me. Um, so you get to save, 10% of a cruise booking, or
Mhm.
you just don't spend money. So obviously, Lynn and I were like, yes, we want to do that.
Yeah.
And Well, we're gonna eyeball what the off season, so that's like January till March.
Yeah, I think so. And then I don't know. We saw something where it said like a minimum of 7 days, and then we found out it doesn't have to be a minimum of 7 days. But I
Oh,
know,
so yeah, so what that is if you do 7 nights or longer, you get 10% off and you save the 250 on your down deposit because you have to there's a certain minimum you have to spend to like
yeah,
officially have a room on the ship. Um and then if it's less than 7 nights, you still have to pay that 250 extra when it comes to the first down deposit on the ship, but you still save 10% in the long run.
mhm, yeah,
So like that's not a big difference. So
right,
what, 3 to 4 nights?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Because
I felt like,
the
oh,
cruise we did
sorry.
was short.
Yeah, I was gonna say I felt like it was short, so I feel like if we were to do anything, like maybe like 5 nights at the minimum.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
also,
it's so debark day,
yeah,
day at sea, two places, day at sea, and then you get home. So that's
yeah,
5 nights.
yeah. The arrival day, sea, port, then disembark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Because we did Nassau and then we did Castaway Key, and I think Castaway
yeah,
Key is a must.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, some things on there are a must.
Why? What are you talking about?
Banana boat.
Oh fuck! I forgot about that. Oh, I'm so sorry again about your eyeballs.
Okay.
Here,
Um,
we got to get
we
into
gotta
this one
explain
now.
this. Yeah.
This is
Okay.
something you do as a teenager, and me being stupid, I was like, Lynn, this would be so much fun. And
Let's
then
do
and
it.
then halfway through the boat, I'm like, Lynn, how are you? And she's tearing up with red eyes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, all right. Let me explain. So, first of all, I've never been to Castaway. Like, I love the vibe. I love the vibe. I can't wait to go back and explore it more. I do have to say, I think about that potato salad every single
You
day.
liked it that much?
I loved it. Like, it was
Okay,
really good. And I
that's good
looked
to hear then.
everywhere for a recipe, but I found out sometimes you can email Disney Cruise Line and they'll give you a recipe. Of course, it's going to be like for a large group of people, but you can like
You can just cut those
probably,
numbers down.
yeah, exactly. But we were like, well, we're at Castaway, like let's like book an excursion, like let's do something. Because when we went to, um, where'd we go?
Nassau?
Nassau, yeah. When we went to Nassau, we didn't really like do anything. Like we walked around, got called a Bahama Mama, just had like a good time.
those NASA salesmen, they really want to. And hey,
Yeah,
no shame to that. I think it's really entertaining because they're
they're their
also
game.
they're very respectful about it, where they'll say something to get your attention and just to like
Yeah,
encourage you. And if you decline or you'll say you're gonna come back at the end of the day because you are trying to get to somewhere, they'll be like, no problem, man. You have a good one. God bless you. And it's just like, thanks, man. I appreciate you.
yeah. But that was my new nickname. Someone called me Bahama Mama, so yeah. But anyway, so we didn't do anything in Nassau really. We like walked around and then we like headed back.
Hmm.
But we also tried the soda, which was really good. Sorry, I'm just
Um,
gonna throw it in
Goom
there. The
Goom
Goombay
Goombay.
punch. Yeah.
I gotta find the photo because it's a good one.
It's so good.
Continue your
Oh,
story though. It's
yeah,
great.
sorry. So, yeah, we were like, let's do something on Castaway, like it'll be fun. So there wasn't a lot of options like left, and we were
Hmm.
also like working with like a certain time window. So we're like, let's do like the banana boat.
Hmm. Because it
So
came down to that or parasailing. Because I think all of the snorkelings were taken up at the
yeah,
times that would have been available. Biking would have taken too long. Uh, and parasailing, we just were like, it's a weather risk because the second you have slightly too windy or slightly too cloudy, they cancel everything because they're like,
I'm
we have to
scared.
we have to consider safety.
Yeah, and I'm scared.
Yeah, that's fair.
Says the girl who wants to go skydiving. But um yeah, so we did banana boat, and I've never even heard of a banana boat until this trip. But it literally
Hmm.
looks like a freaking banana you sit on. And I honestly did not know it was like a group booking. I thought like it was just gonna be me and you.
Yeah.
So we get there and there's like another group, and like some people are taking forever to like register. So we're like, all right,
Hmm.
whatever. So it's hot out too, and I'm like dying. I'm like, oh my God, okay. But I'm like, once, we just like, we're still wet. We explored like the adults only beach. So I'm like, I'll be fine, whatever. So then it's time for us to like get on the banana boat. And they're like doing it like children in the front and then like so forth, like men in the back or whatever. I'm like, okay.
They kind of awkwardly split it up because just the way that the groups were, it was Lynn and I,
Yeah.
um, two kids,
Like
like
brother and
a,
sister.
yeah, but like just under preteen age, I want to say.
Yeah.
And then I think one of the parents, and I think the other parent stayed on the shore, a son, like a young son and his dad,
Oh,
and then a
yeah.
group of women a little bit older than Lynn and I.
Yeah. Or about
Like,
our age,
yeah, like
give or
four or five of
take.
them.
Yeah.
And it's like there was a way they could have organized it where like dad still stayed with his son, and then the two younger preteens were on the right, and then Lynn and I, and then the four girls that were all together. They could have all been together, but he kind of like the guy directing where to sit. He kind of split it up so like Lynn and I had someone in between us. The two kids that were brother sisters, they were opposite of each other, and
Yeah.
also like offset. Like it was just slightly odd. It's also good to note that this wasn't a Disney excursion. This was a third party that had
Party.
the rights to be on Castaway Key and do these excursions, like in
Yeah.
partnership with Disney.
Yeah. And I thought you were going to be like right across from me.
Yeah,
That's why
I would have taken this or this, but
it,
no, we were that was someone in between us. So it's kind of like
it
this
was
is
like
weird.
it was really like odd too because when I was trying to get onto like the like sister of one of the people in the group like kind of like sat behind her, but I thought she was going to sit like across. I don't know. That kind of
Yeah,
like I felt like that threw things off too. But
yeah, it threw
so we
stuff
like
off.
yeah, we get on and then like it's attached to a boat and I'm like, okay, they're just going to take us like in this little area like whatever because it's like a small area. No, they take us like outside, like we go past the ship, we like go
Yeah,
deep into the ocean area. I'm like
yeah,
and like the water is so clear and because like it's shallow in some areas, like you can see the bottom, but they take us to the part where it is dark
yeah.
because it's deep. You cannot see. And they even gave us like a safety briefing. They're like, "Oh, like you got to lean in like when we turn and like or if you feel like you're going to fall off, lean in." And like I lost my grip a few times like with my footing. I You're just getting waterboarded the whole time. I was just like so traumatized. Like and my eyes were hurting because I was wearing contacts. Like I should have brought goggles or something. I don't think
Well,
they
the
would have let me worn them, but
Well, the thing is, he did say like, we said, "Are we allowed to wear our sunglasses?" And he
yeah.
says, and the girl goes 50-50. Like, the fuck does that mean? So
I
we just said, no, I don't want to take that risk.
mine were from Dollar Tree, so I think I probably would have taken the risk, but
I had nice sunglasses. I was like, I'm not in the mood for that.
yeah, I had a backup pair though from like Five Below, so if things get bad, at least I had that. But yeah, I think next time maybe like if you're thinking about doing this, anyone who's watching, definitely get like a cheap pair of sunglasses, like just to have if you do the
Or
banana boat. But
or even like swimming goggles, because those are like tight on your face, so you know you'll
yeah.
be fine.
I mean, we don't know if they'll let you wear the swimming goggles, but if they don't
They
have
should.
really a
They
problem
will.
with
Yeah, they
sunglasses.
don't have a problem with sunglasses. I think they'd be fine if you did, glasses that are designed to not fall off.
Yeah.
I just pulled up Google
Goombay?
Maps.
Oh.
Not Goombay.
Oh,
Goombay was delicious. I'll say
yeah.
it's a flavor you
It's like tangerine.
but even still, like, it wasn't just tangerine. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on. I feel
Yeah.
like you'll only understand what it tastes like if you tasted it. You can't describe the taste.
Yeah.
Just like Dr. Pepper.
Mm.
So this is Castaway Key. Very, very nice island. A lot of it is untouched. And I think that's a very important part about the island. Like, they kept it as
Mhm.
natural as they could.
Yeah.
So this is where the Disney ship always docks. And then to get to like the main area where you hang out, you
Mhm.
get off the boat right here and you walk along to like pass Arrival Plaza and Marge's Barges, and then there's a tram that takes you all the way up to Scuttle's Cove, and this is like the family spot. This is where kids are allowed to
Yeah.
go. They have these little barges out in the water where like you can take a water slide down, or like there's monkey bars in the middle of the water. Like it's really fun. But
That's cool.
where Lynn and I went is the furthest docking or furthest spot where we could like sit, or not sit, but like what's the word? What am I trying to say? Furthest beach where they could
Yeah.
dock, and we would go out away where they have like a breakaway line for
Oh
waves,
god.
and we went out, and he did like loops around here, and then he would go over across
This is traumatizing.
the entire length. Like this is not a short distance. This is kilometers.
Yeah, it's
Like I
massive.
don't even know how long it is. But then we go all the way over to what's called Serenity Bay, which
Which
is
is
the
the
adults
adults.
only. Hmm. And they even have like a barbecue here, so you can eat without children, which is great. Um,
That's where the really good potato salad is.
I gotta find this potato salad recipe because now I'm intrigued. And
So
then
good.
we went somewhere with a bunch of starfish. I remember that, and he
Oh
handed us
yeah.
the starfish
Yeah.
somewhere over here. And then we basically just looped back, and he did more turns where he kind of made us fling side to side. It was fun. And then we get right back, and I think it was like right here. Like we only just got in line with the stingray section, and he took a 5 to let us catch our breath and just like you know you know enjoy the moment. And I'm like, Lynn, how are you doing? And she turns around and just like red and like teary, and she's like, it hurts because
It
didn't you wear
does hurt.
contacts so the salt water
I
got into the
did.
contact?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, my impression of the banana boat, you go very slow.
Yeah.
Very, very slow. No, that was not the case, and he was, like, whipping us around, and I think it's because the group that we were traveling with, the girls who were about our age, they were,
Hmm.
like, freaking out, and,
No,
like,
no,
one
no,
of them was, like,
one no
terrified.
one girl, what was her name? Kiki.
Yeah, Kiki.
Yo, Kiki was geeking.
She was terrified, like, she was, like, in
Hmm.
tears, so I think the guides thought it was, like, kind of funny, so they wanted to, like,
Hmm.
be
Yeah.
extra about it, but, like, because of that, it kinda, like I'm not kidding though, because you have, like, this, like, black strap you hold on to. My
Yeah.
elbow, I, like, hurt it so bad, it was hurting for, like, 2 days after,
Yeah.
but
What was awkward for me is the girl between you and I,
yeah.
she kept on adjusting, and she would sit further back, and I'm like, I'm basically grabbing her ass. This feels really
Ah!
weird.
Stop grabbing people's ass.
I wasn't trying to. It was the fact that she sat backwards.
But I don't know, I don't know how I feel about the,
Yeah.
experience of the banana boat.
Oh, I already said to
Never
myself, I did it
again.
once. I'm fine.
I did see a TikTok regarding the snorkeling. I'm
Hmm.
intrigued. I'm intrigued. So, someone we were with, they told us like, "Oh, you can just bring your own snorkeling supplies. Like, we don't recommend like renting it from there."
Oh, that's
So,
right.
yeah, but
Yeah.
so I wanna snorkel because they have statues under the water, but then
Hmm.
I just saw a TikTok, I think it was yesterday or maybe Friday, where apparently, like, it's actually far out, so they have, like, a whole area for snorkeling, but if you wanna see the statues and stuff, it's about, like, a mile and a half, like, of a swim.
Hmm. Yeah,
I'm like,
it's out there, but
"Ah!"
it's kind of ridiculous how like I don't know the number, but I just know it's an obscene amount to rent snorkel equipment.
Yeah,
That the way they clean it is they dunk it in water and then they rinse it out.
it's kinda nasty.
Yeah, that's just to get the salt out. That's all they care about, really.
Wait, we gotta talk about the stingray.
Oh yeah, at Serenity Bay, this dude. Well, it's kind of funny. So they have one male stingray, because there's a stingray section for where you can feed them and like pet them and all this stuff. They're very like cautious
Friendly.
though, because there's a thing called the stingray shuffle where when you walk, you just do
Mhm.
this. You don't lift your feet, because if you lift and you disturb a stingray or you like step on it, it could attack you. I
Yeah,
think they
because
have their barbs removed, but it's still a safety concern.
yeah, they have some that blend in. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
a native Floridian. Like, I do the stingray shuffle every single time I'm at the beach. Like, I'm to the point where I'm like overly cautious. Like, I'm scared to go
Mm-hmm.
in the water sometimes. But like, sometimes the stingray will blend in with the sand. So that's why it's
Hmm.
important. But we heard like they let the male one out because like he's the only one in a group of females.
Yeah.
So for him to not get like frustrated or like take his anger out, they're like, all right, do a lap and he'll come back because he knows that's where he gets his food. But
Hmm.
we were at the adults only beach. We were in the water for quite a little bit, and then you decide to sit down in a chair. I'm still like in the water, like not far
Hmm.
away,
Yeah.
but
Well,
like,
we went a little bit out, and
yeah,
then we saw a group of our friends in our family group
yeah,
by the beach. So we joined them, and there was these fold out chairs that were like water safe,
yeah, like
and
low
some
to the
people put
ground.
some people put them like right at the level where the water began. So I sat, and Lynn was like looking at seashells and such, and I was just like talking with the group of people.
Yeah.
Stingray out of nowhere just comes sideways. Oh no, Lynn froze.
Oh, so sorry. My internet decided to drop for a second. Ew,
Okay, you're
sorry.
back now. You're
Okay,
back
good.
now.
But yeah, I was looking for shells and like I'm not far out, but I'm still like in the water, like but I'm
Hmm.
sitting down and looking for shells and then all of a sudden like someone says something about like a stingray and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
And there's
and
like
he's
this
booking sideways, like
he's like
he's flying.
it's like this big boy. I'm like, "Oh my god." So then I start like crawling my way like closer to you and then
Hmm.
I like I'm not like right at you, but I'm like still in the water and then he starts like booking it back towards me. I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to just like
Yeah,
sit here now." But I was like, "That is so crazy."
it was cute though. I liked
Yeah, it
it. It was
was.
not what I didn't even know they did that. They let the male out in that kind of scenario, but
Yeah.
it was fun to watch it happen.
Yeah. It was really cool.
Hmm. You know, it's something that just thinking back, like I find it funny how we were doing this basically the whole trip because we also did, I think 2 days. Oh no, one day at Disney before, and then we went to Volcano
Volcano
Bay.
Bay.
Do you know something we did the whole trip that I still find amusing?
What?
Every time there was a child that was just being like a little
Oh, we
brat, we looked at each other and we're just like children.
Oh, wait. Speaking, sorry, the child thing reminded me of something else we experienced on this trip.
Well,
So we were going out to dinner with my parents and we're meeting them at Disney Springs. So
uh
we're
huh.
staying at Pop Century and we're like, let's take the bus. Like, even though I brought my car with me, I was like, I don't feel like driving and then trying to find a parking spot, whatever. So you and we take the bus and we get
Oh,
evacuated.
oh yeah. Uh huh.
Yeah. Someone
That
on
was a first time for me, so it really like caught me off guard.
Yeah. Someone on our
Hmm.
bus, like, passed out,
Hmm.
and they were
I
like,
thought
"Does
you
anyone have water?"
or and someone just goes, I think she has low blood sugar. I was like, oh
Yeah.
shoot.
I was like, "At least it's
I
not
thought you were in,
me."
I thought you were gonna talk about the little kid that was next to you that had like food on his shirt and stuff. Like that was
Yes.
gross.
Yes, okay, so on the bus, to make things even worse, not because someone passed out, like, we are obviously stopped, like, right outside of Riviera for about, like, maybe 15, 20 minutes because 'cause we're waiting for, like, Reedy Creek to show up, we're waiting for, like, the ambulance, we're waiting for, like, a
Hmm.
backup bus, Disney security has to come, like, it's a whole ordeal. And there's this little kid the whole entire bus ride, he like keeps like bumping into me and like he's like in my bubble, like in my space, he's being very loud and
Ugh.
very
And
disruptive.
the parents are doing nothing. They're not acknowledging that the child is invading someone else's space.
Yeah, and it's not like I could sit, like, somewhere else because this is a packed bus. It is
Hmm.
completely full because it's dinner time. Everyone goes to Dinner Springs Disney Springs for dinner time, and they go shopping, like, that's the thing to do. So,
Hmm.
this little kid is directly right next to me, like, at that point, with the age he should have been in a lap. He really should have
Yeah,
been in a lap,
he
but
really should have.
he has, like, something wet yellow and orange stained on his sleeve and it brushes up against like my elbow right here. I like want to gag. I was like so disgusted and I'm texting Braden. I'm like, "Oh my god, something's on my arm." And it like dries and it's like this residue. I'm like
I
and
I was I was one more close contact away from telling the parents like, "Hey, can we like please have
I
our
think you
space and
did.
your space?" No, no, I didn't because by the time I said that, We then got evac'd off
Oh,
the
yeah.
bus, and we like stood up and left immediately, obviously. And I
Yeah.
found two seats that were like offset from everyone else. So like I knew the little kid couldn't have been next to you. And then I also made sure that I sat where the next seat would have been so that you didn't have him somehow appear next to you again.
Yeah, and first thing we did as soon as we got to Disney Springs, I was, like, texting my parents, I was texting my brother, I'm like, "Hey, so sorry, like, this is what happened, we got evacuated, so sorry we're late." First thing we did, I did not even care if we were holding them up, I beelined straight to the bathroom to wash my arm off. I just felt so disgusted, and, like,
Ugh.
this whole trip, I don't know what it was, I love kids, I don't have a problem with kids, like, but this whole trip, just the worst, like, behaved children and parents doing nothing about it.
Hmm. There was also there's another, oh, it was Finding Nemo. The Finding Nemo ride, there was a child that kept standing up and
Oh
he
my
kept
god.
making us stop. And that's another situation where we then got delayed meeting up with my family. So
Yeah.
we were at Epcot, and we're on the Nemo ride, which is a continuous nonstop ride. So there is
Yeah.
always movement occurring, which is truly one of my favorite type of rides because it's like
Mhm.
you'll never have to
Omnimover.
stand still. You'll yeah, it's Omnimove. I love that just kind of continuous perpetual motion going
Yeah.
on. And a few cars after us, when we got on, Lynn goes, I can see a child standing up, and the cast members telling them to sit down.
No,
And I was like, what?
I didn't see it, but I heard it because we were
Oh,
still,
okay.
like we were, like, far enough from, like, load where I can't see anything, but you can still hear the cast member, and they're, like,
Hmm.
saying, like, "Please sit down, you're gonna have to sit down for this ride, please stay seated." They're repeating themselves over and over again, and then the ride stop. And then
Yeah.
normally Omnimovers don't stop unless typically they slow down if someone is, in an ECV or wheelchair and they need to transfer, and then if they
Hmm.
need extra time, they will stop. But it's more of like a slowdown, and you can tell when the ride slows down because it goes from like 5 miles to like 1 mile per hour. And
Yeah.
then the only other time they'll stop a ride if like there's a safety concern or a safety hazard, like someone standing up. And like clearly that's what it was throughout the whole entire time because every minute we would like go and then and be like, "Please, stay seated," or whatever, like the typical safety spiel, not a cast member getting on, but, like, the typical safety spiel. It had to be
Hmm.
because someone was standing up.
And it was this child, and they did it, I
Yeah,
think, 7 times.
yeah.
Like it was literally, we moved, 5 feet, and then it happened again. And then we
Yeah,
moved another 5 feet, and it happened again. And it's also just embarrassing because it wasn't a child by themselves because they wouldn't be able to do that. It was a parent with their kid. It's like at that point, get the kid's shoulder and push him down and hold him in the seat,
yeah. Or, like,
please.
put them in your lap, like, depending on how old they are, and, like, hug them, and, like, "You're gonna have to
Yeah,
sit here," like
yeah.
so
And
annoying.
then because then we were gonna go to Cosmic right afterwards, Cosmic Rewind, and my sister's like, "Where the hell are you?" I'm like, "Listen, I
Yeah.
couldn't predict anything like this to happen. This easily added 10 minutes to the day."
Yeah, because we all had like a lightning lane and then we're meeting up like as a group. So it's like there were like so many factors and like I think it was funny because we were actually ahead of schedule. So we're like, "Oh, Nemo,
Hmm.
like we have like a quick lightning lane, like this is always like a short
Yeah,
ride." Like
let's
but
just do it
even
right now.
but even the lightning lane, we did have to wait about like 10-15 minutes, I would say. Like
And then you add that time because of this dummy.
yeah, it was like so frustrating, but um
Ugh.
we got to go to Space 220. That was my first time.
Oh yeah, you had a lot
I
of first time things, and then my first was
yeah.
Volcano Bay.
Volcano Bay. Can I say something? This is
Hmm.
so bad. Um, so the day that we like checked in at the hotel, I
Yeah,
surprised you at the airport and
you
we were
did, and
yeah.
it caught me completely off guard.
It was so fun.
I'm shocked you kept a secret like that for so long.
It was really hard to keep it like a secret. But we checked in, but it was like taking forever, so we got lunch and then we're like, oh, what should we do? And it started pouring. And we
Mm-hmm.
were like, when you check in at Disney, I guess it's a new promotion they're running this year. You can go to like water park, whichever one is open the day that you arrive. Well, we couldn't
Mm-hmm.
go, so we were like, oh, like let's do something else instead. So we decided to go to City Walk. I have to say, City Walk, if you're just going for City Walk and not the parks, like it's kind of lame. Like we
Yeah, there's not
walked
a lot
around,
happening.
yeah, we walked around, look at the store. I think maybe we got like a drink or something from like, oh, butterbeer. That's what we got. We
Yeah.
got butterbeer.
And
And we
that's
like,
fun. I like that they put that in there.
yeah, that's a brand new addition. I'm glad they did that.
Now Disney, well, Disney already does this. They have the Dole Whip stand at Disney Springs.
Yeah.
But
Swirls on the water.
I feel like they need another stand on the opposite side, like near the M&Ms, and it's like pineapple, orange, raspberry, vanilla Dole Whip so that you
Yeah.
can get like the Magic Kingdom style Dole Whip.
Yeah. That would be fun. Because some of
Hmm.
these Dole Whip flavors are kind of like side eye. Like, what are you
It's
thinking?
kind of
Salted
like
caramel? I don't
that's
know.
one of them.
I think it was, yeah. Like recently.
No, no thanks.
Uh,
Oh, sorry, what were you saying about City Walk?
Oh, I was just saying, like, it was not fun. Like, I low key felt bad when we
Hmm.
went because it
I
was
didn't.
kind of
You don't
like
realize until you're
disappointing.
there. Most of City Walk is just a
Restaurant.
restaurant or something really expensive.
Yeah. And
Like
then this,
at least when you go to Disney Springs, it's like there's shopping galore. Like they have the art stop, they have art, pins, kid stuff, clothing, the giant Disney store.
yeah.
They have like the themed one for Marvel, the themed one for Star Wars. And then they have restaurants here and there, but it's still enough where it's like, oh, I can walk. I can just window
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah. They
Disney
even have a
City
freaking
Walk City
Build-A-Bear,
where?
a T-Rex.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh shoot, I didn't know that.
That's why I'm like kind of like disappointed with City Walk. I was like,
Mhm.
where's the shops? Like, I feel like if they had more shops and just not Universal specific, it would be
Yeah.
fun. But I think because like Disney like jumped the gun and was like, oh, let's make like an outdoor shopping mall, but it's
Mhm.
also like Disney. I feel like Universal is like, oh man, like
But again,
here we
if
go.
but like I think City Walk is the same size as Downtown Disney and Disneyland. So if they
Yeah.
wanted,
Hmm.
they could cut it down a little.
Yeah.
And they could make it that okay, we have about 60% shopping, 40% restaurant cuz right now, truthfully, it's like 80% restaurant.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
we could go to the Nintendo spot, the Wizard stuff. There wasn't really a Universal spot. And then
kinda.
after what where?
It was the one we like walked through. Remember, like you had to go to the bathroom, and then I like stood outside that store, and I was like holding your drink.
Oh,
It
oh,
was that
okay.
one, but it's not
Yeah,
as
but
like involved.
no, but that's not as universal as like the equivalent Disney store, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
it's like
And then
much
like
smaller.
yeah, everything after that was either like Voodoo Donuts, the AMC or whatever movie theater they
It's not
have.
AMC. It's like a knockoff. I want to know who goes
Um,
there.
me too, because that'd be kind of funny.
Like it always looks empty. Oh, they also have the golfing too, but
Yeah,
that was
but
like
the
40
over
bucks per person.
yeah the overly expensive. It's overly expensive for a theme park. That's the
Yeah.
crazy part.
I will say one thing I want to do like so bad. They have like a karaoke place there, like on the
They do.
weekends or the yeah, like at night. It's called like Rising Star Karaoke. I think that'd be so much fun.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
I
I
will
didn't know
say
that existed.
Fat Tuesdays there. I love that place.
Hmm. Um, Kind of connecting the last two conversations we had though.
Yeah.
Um, so for cruise lines, there's what Carnival, Royal, Disney,
Norwegian,
Norwegian,
Virgin.
Virgin, and Disney's making a massive increase to their fleet. Like if you don't know, Disney now is making a new ship that's going to be completely based in Singapore. So there's a bigger focus for the characters that that market enjoys, like Baymax.
I have to go, guys.
It looks a lot of fun, but the thing, like again, it's only in Singapore, so it's
Yeah.
like you'll have to make a big trip if you want to go there as someone from North America.
And it's only a 3 or 4 day cruise.
That's standard though. So cruises are either for Disney at least they either do
Yeah,
7 nights or 3 nights, then 4 nights, because then
yeah.
that's a week.
See, I'm used to like Carnival. Well, yeah, I've only been on Carnival once and Royal Caribbean once, but when my
Hmm.
family does a cruise, we do like 8 or 7 day cruises. So like
Hmm.
that's why like it's so weird to me that Disney does like 3, 4 day cruises. Like I
Yeah.
know they exist on like other cruise lines like Carnival too, but like
Hmm.
it's like
But
weird for me.
the thing that I didn't really think about until Lynn and I were talking one afternoon walking on the ship is there's not a universal cruise ship.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about like, well, what would they do? Because Royal doesn't have kids clubs the same way Disney does.
Hmm.
And I want to say Carnival is more of an adult focus. So it's
Yeah.
like Universal needs to have a family thing because they're Universal Studios. But if they do the exact same thing Disney does, well, it'll just be Disney but with different IP.
Hmm.
And we just kept talking about it, kept talking about it. And I think at one point someone in my family said like, no, for no reason would Universal want to do cruises. Like that's just not their market.
I think it was your
I
dad.
maybe
I
yeah.
think he said
I
that.
just remember being like, no, there's a lot of money to be made if you have a cruise line. And it's just
Yeah.
like new stuff. So if you like Harry Potter and there was Harry Potter on a cruise ship, you're jumping to that. Just like I wanted to do the Wish because Hyperspace Lounge, the Star Wars thing, and the Marvel headquarters dinner.
Hmm.
Like those were the two things that made me say I want to do this ship. And then
Yeah.
everything else after that was just an addition to what I was able to look at.
Well, I was like thinking with like a Universal like cruise, they have like so many great like original IPs like
Mhm.
Jaws, Back to the Future, things like that. I was thinking
E.T.,
ET, yeah, I was thinking like what
all of Dr. Seuss,
classic. Yeah.
Jurassic World and
Well,
Jurassic Park for that matter, Harry Potter.
well, that's where like I think like if they do a Universal cruise, that's where things might get dicey like with a contract because Universal does not own Dr. Seuss. They're like partner it out or like
Mhm.
and then same with Harry Potter. So I feel like that could be like a little weird. But like Universal has so many great like base IPs, like Universal Monsters. I was thinking like for an adult like space on the cruise, they could have like an
Mhm.
SNL comedy club. Like wouldn't
Oh,
that be
that would
cool?
work so well. Yeah,
Yeah,
because that's something that we didn't do on the Disney ship, but it
we
is a
did.
thing on the ship is that
Yeah,
you can do like meet match your mate or
yeah.
like they have stand
Trivia's.
yeah trivia like they like you just said they could do an SNL vibed
Yeah,
like layout for like just in a lounge.
yeah.
And then they could have this night we're gonna have stand up. This night we're gonna have um whatever the hell. I don't know. Stuff.
And then I was thinking, like, what if they had, like, like monsters, Universal Monsters is like such a huge thing, like at the moment, especially with Epic Universe. Like, wouldn't it be cool if they had like a monsters bar?
Well what they yeah, a bar, but another thing is they could even do a dinner the same way they have themed dinner spots at Disney. But
That'd be fun.
I don't know how they could do this, but they can make it that one dining area is less scary and it's like for the families and the
Yeah,
other half is for adults only. But I think the issue with that is they can't predict how many kids they'll have versus how many adults only. But
exactly. That's why I was thinking, like, more of like a bar or like an adult, like Ford
yeah,
space.
yeah.
Um,
The same way like hyperspace.
yeah. Or like
Mhm.
ET would be really cool. I'm not sure like what they would be able to like what that would be, but I think that would be cool. Or
Yeah.
they can make like a water slide, like the
Oh,
Aquamouse, but it's
that'd
like
be
ET
fun.
theme. Like maybe like
Hmm.
your raft is like ET's
It's a
bike
life raft.
basket or
I
something
don't
like
know. Yeah.
that.
Okay, well, here's another idea. So, hear me out.
Yeah,
Harry Potter is very like old school because they focus more on like natural materials in the wizarding world, like
yeah,
wood and stone and all the stuff like from the earth. And then um, Monsters is like an old school classic story. So again, it's wood and stone and those kind of materials. They
yeah,
could have a section of the boat where there's one bar that's Harry Potter themed on one side, and then maybe it's an actual window out, but it's the portholes look very rustic, or it's
Yeah.
a screen and you can see like a dragon fly on the water, or
Oh,
you
that'd
can
be
see
cool.
like mythical sea creatures going out, or people on broomsticks, like that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And the
Yeah.
other half, it's the monsters thing, like you just said, and maybe it's supposed to look like you're always at a rough sea, so you see like a kraken tentacle come up, or there's lightning strikes,
Oh,
or
that's
you'll
cool.
see like Flying Dutchman, like that kind of stuff, because that would
Yeah.
continue the monsters and like the almost mythical creature stuff, but on that side of the world.
Yeah. I was thinking too, wouldn't it be really neat if they had a like Back to the Future like themed nightclub or something? Because I know like we went on a Disney cruise, so there's not like a nightclub, but like usually on
Mm-hmm.
Royal Caribbean or like Carnival or like some of the others, they have like a nightclub. I was thinking, wouldn't that be fun if they had like a Back to the Future themed like nightclub, and like maybe they have like a live band for like a portion of it, like the time when he went back to like the 50s, and then like
Mm-hmm.
the other half is like 80s themed. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I was like thinking like I feel like there's like so much they could do like with the
Oh,
space,
there's
and
so
then
much.
they could have like a cinema on board like Disney does, except they
Mm-hmm.
played like Universal like movies. Like
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah,
so
because
cool.
again, they have all the Dr. Seuss stuff. They
Yeah.
have all of the like action movies that you'd want. They even have Fast and the Furious, and we didn't even talk about that. Like
Oh,
those
yeah.
those movies are very lucrative as well. They could
I just
do SNL reruns in like in an adult section, like good sections. I don't know, but the thing I wanted to say though is
yeah.
like we have all these ideas that we're talking about, like what would work well, and again, we're talking about this on the cruise, and then not even like a day or two later,
Find it
we
on
see
Twitter.
online that people are finding out that, what is it, website domain acquired by NBC Universal was updated this year, and the port of Galveston is under an NDA with a new cruise line that's going to compete with Disney in 2031, which makes sense. Like they need time to make.
A
They need to get
cruise.
licensing. They need to have concepts. They need to have floor layout. They need to have engineers, and they need to physically build it. So they need a boat.
Yeah.
And then like this was the first thing you saw. It was like something about the domain name. Like, can you explain
Mhm.
this to me?
So me, the most non-technical person ever trying to explain this. So basically, like with a website, like you gotta like buy like a website name, you know what I mean? Or like get ownership of it. So if they're not planning to do this until 2031, I'm
Mhm.
thinking they probably decided like, hey, we are working behind the scenes to like get the paperwork filled out, like everything like lawyer wise, like IP rights. I mean, if they're like branching out with like Harry Potter, Dr. Seuss, because those aren't universal IPs necessarily,
Yeah.
like something like Jaws or like Back to the Future where they like own everything.
Hmm.
So they're probably like doing that stuff, but they're like, all right, well, we need a website. Might as well jump on it now. So
Yeah.
they're probably just like securing that website right now. But because
Hmm.
like some of that information is like public, someone found it and was like, oh,
Interesting.
let me leak it.
Yeah.
And like, here we are. So this is exciting. I want them
Hmm.
to announce it sooner than later, but if they're not planning on doing this until 2031, I don't want them to announce it so soon and then it's a lackluster product.
Hmm. Realistically, what I bet will happen is there'll be social media whispers and news outlets that are talking about it, like the
Yeah.
equivalent of Disney Food Blog or Disney Food Blog, because I know they cover essentially everything amusement park. Their
Yeah.
main source of information is Disney, though. My prediction is 2028. They have concept arts and ideas, because for the next
Mhm.
couple of years they'll have to talk to um, all the Wizarding World stuff, like whatever the parent company of that is, they have to get the rights from them,
I think
and
it's
Dr.
Warner
Seuss.
Brothers.
Okay, well, isn't Warner Brothers owned by Universal then?
That's a great question.
Jarvis, who owns Harry Potter? But then another thing I saw today was just like an idea, and I fully agree with it. It's that if if Universal is going to continue and do what Disney does, and they have Castaway Key and now they have Lookout Key,
Yeah.
um, if Universal wants to have a competing island that they own the rights to for, I don't know, like 99 years or whatever the same contract is that Disney has,
Mhm.
if it's not Jurassic Park or Jurassic World themed, that's a missed opportunity because that is like in the Universal IP board of
It's
ideas.
perfect.
That's yeah, that is perfect. It is an island themed towards their IP. They might as well continue that and have the same architecture, the same music, the same
Mhm.
foliage. And if they could put animatronics on the island, do you know how exciting that would be able to see like what is like the one with the long head, Stegosaurus,
Yeah,
Brontosaurus?
I think so.
Imagine having like an animatronic head that you could just stand next to on a private island on your cruise.
That'd be cool.
People would
My
go I would go nuts for that.
Yeah, my thing is like I love Jurassic Park. Like I think that would be such a fun concept, except
Mhm.
I feel like, like Castaway, it's not very like specifically themed. It's just like general Disney. You got like Mickey stuff, you got like Stitch stuff and like all sorts of stuff.
Mhm.
I feel like if Universal was to go in that direction, I feel like maybe they would like block off a section where it'd be like, oh, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. I feel
But
like they would not take the plunge, even though it makes perfect sense to have
mhm.
one. I just feel like they would want to keep it open for other interests as well. Because How to Train Your Dragon, I feel like they could probably work in like a
Oh.
jungle dragon or something like that. I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like they wouldn't like
Well,
subject
they
it to
don't.
one portion of one of
Yeah.
their IPs.
Well, they don't even have to do like new dragons. They could just do a Viking camp. Like
Yeah,
on Castaway Key, like I said, there's these barges out that have like a water slide or they have like like a jungle gym essentially in
yeah,
the water so you can go on monkey bars and you can jump into the ocean. They could just do that and just
right.
have a theme to be those bright vibrant Viking colors that they have in
That
How
would
to
be
Train Your
cool.
Dragon.
Yeah. And then like maybe like I know like it's different like terrain and like everything. They could have like ET's like
ET could work.
ET's jungle, like you're like,
Okay,
oh,
no.
ET's spaceship like crashed or something. Like, oh, here he is. I don't know. I just love ET. That's why I keep bringing that up. But Shrek,
Shrek could work.
Swamp, like
Hmm.
um,
Or just like an ogre
Trolls.
vacation.
Yeah,
Trolls potentially.
like
Trolls
I
would
was.
work for a kids. Trolls could work for a kids club. That's the thing.
Yeah, like oh, I want to talk about that now. Like, what would be their kids club theme? Like Trolls definitely be for like kids.
We should make a list of ideas and come back to it
I
another
know
episode
this
because I think
episode's so long.
we didn't even get through half the stuff on our topics list because there was
Yeah, I'm
actually a lot more
actually.
about the cruise than I realized we had to talk about.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked. Like we had so much. We had about like two other things. Rest in peace, Muppets.
We they deserve their own segment of an episode. We
Yeah,
can't just say that.
yeah. You got to
But
see
no,
Muppets for the last time, though.
I did. We did,
We did, yeah.
which is good. But I think we should end it here. Just a big cruise conversation, essentially. But
Yeah.
like we said, I think if you haven't done a Disney cruise, do one. They're a lot of
Yeah.
fun. They're a lot less. They're a lot less stressful than a trip to Disney. It's a
Yeah.
lot less planning, which is nice.
Hmm.
Mhm. But thank you all for watching another episode. Sorry again, we take so long to film these new ones. Life is busy, but we still hope that you guys
Stay wild.